Hey, everybody, welcome to Saturday Night Livestream, at least until NBC sues us and says we can't use Saturday Night Live. But
It's coming.
Until then, I'm going with it for sure. It's good to have you guys all here. We'll do some introductions here in just a moment. Just very quick, thank you, of course, to the Freakin Oracle for agreeing to come on tonight and talk about the topics that we have tonight. So, profit taking and, of course, exit strategies, which I know a lot of people are excited to hear about. And we're going to definitely touch on those a bit. I don't have a slide deck tonight because I don't think we really need it for this topic. But we're going to definitely go into it in great detail. And we're going to be taking, of course, all of your questions and all of the fun stuff as we sort of trudge along here tonight. So what we have in the house right now, we have MC Paradis, who is a woman of her word. So here she is. And she's also, it's Muggsy. Muggsy saying hello to everyone. Hello, Muggsy. And we also have Dan. So Dan's here saying hey. And we have a Danter folk. So one of the Danters is here. It could be Tim. It could be Nancy. Or it could be Nim Tansy, as we came up with last night.
Oh boy.
Oh, I know. And of course, the Oracle swear I am still laughing. Absolutely. Ken here is a bundle of fun. And those of you who were lucky enough to see his stream last night, it was an absolute hoot. A lot of people laughed really, really, really hard. For sure. So how I wanted to sort of start this is I think a lot of us know the Oracle. He's been around for a long time, but I wanted to ask him just a few basic questions for people who are new to Ken and don't really know his background and would like to know a little bit more about him. So as a hard-hitting reporter type, let's ask that first question. So Ken, how did you get into investing? What brought you away from saving fiat money and moving into, stock market as well as, of course, crypto?
That's a good question. Actually, where I work, everybody knows I'm a portable toilet service technician, and we have joined a union. We're part of LIUNA now, and so I'm basically I'm taken care of in my retirement since we have a decent pension now. So I was wondering how to make a couple extra bucks. And I thought, well, I don't really dabble in stocks very much. I think it was January or February. I started looking around and I found the High Rye channel. So I started watching that and learning about stocks and being interested in the dividend stocks, since those are the ones that bring you passive income. Then on the one stream there, I seen the Danters and they were, bipping off about the Bitcoin. And I thought, you know what, I should start going on their show and seeing what they're saying, because I am an old-time Bitcoiner myself. I got burned a while back with an exchange that just disappeared with all my Bitcoin. Left a very sour taste in my mouth, but that's okay. And
how many Bitcoin was it that you lost?
12. It wasn't a huge amount, but 12 then was only about $250. 12 now is holy crap, so. But so I've come back with a vengeance and a fury, and I've done out pretty well. I think some other people that have taken my advice lately have done their due diligence looking at different cryptos and have made themselves a bit of pocket change, which is good. It's me achieving helping the community. It's my contribution to the community. So.
Right. So you said that you started initially in Bitcoin. What moved you from Bitcoin into altcoins?
Well, see, when I first started doing it, I was at work lunchtime the one day, and we had this old man named John. So we used to call him Old Man John. He was in the lunchroom the one day telling us about this guy that was trying to go through the dump to find some hard drive that he lost. He threw it away, and it had all this Bitcoin on it that was worth nothing when he had it. And at the time, I think Bitcoin hit about $1,200. I think it was around that area. So I went outside and I was Googling and I was finding out about Bitcoin and mining and whatnot. So I got a hold of one of my friends that had a junky old graphics card, and I started mining some Emerald coin. And then I found out about exchanges, so I ended up exchanging Emerald for other coins. And then I realized, well, geez, you could just bounce these coins back and forth. The fees were really low because it was within an exchange. And my bag started growing a bit. Then I looked into actually mining Bitcoin itself. And at the time, ASICs was just coming out. The ASIC miners were just coming out. And I ended up picking myself up 2 miners and then another 2 miners. And now they're in the basement collecting dust because the ROI on them it's far gone now. It exceeds the difficulty amount right now. So, but that's how I originally found out about altcoins and Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency world.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating. And I'm still, as the dancers are, I think, as well, trying to get past the fact that you lost 12 Bitcoin. That's,
yeah.
I mean, just the amount that would be worth today is fantastic.
That was just me. You imagine the other people on the exchanges, that's when you could buy one for $250. And I bet you they had a lot of bags and all gone.
Oh, absolutely. And we've got Ryan in the house. So he's saying hi to everybody. And apparently they're in the garden shed over at the Danters. And they're saying that was devastating. Absolutely. So here's this interesting thing. You mentioned that you kind of really got into it when you were inspired by Rye. So you've come a really long way since last December, early January. Have you done your own research? How have you been sort of increasing your knowledge level?
Just certain Facebook groups I belong to, some Twitter handles that I follow. They give advice. They mention a coin, and I immediately go and Google that coin. I go to their homepage. I take a look at their white paper. I'll read it 2 or 3 times to try and get their concept, whether their concept can be reality immediately or if the concept could be reality in the future. A perfect coin for that is, the Theta coin with what they want to do. It was kind of, okay, I can see this is going to work. This is a really good idea. It's a good concept. It can happen. But now with all the talk of the metaverse, they're talking about that the metaverse is going to be ran on, the Ethereum network for sharing all the data and storage. They use a little bit of the storage on your computer as a buffer for your frames for your video viewing, so that your frames don't drop and stops lagging and choppiness. That's going to be huge in the metaverse if they want the metaverse to run smooth.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that sounds pretty cool. Definitely, you've come a really long way, and I think that's fascinating. Now, when we catch you up till today, I mean, how many different coins right now do you have your hands all over?
I've got about 10 now. I did some consolidation. I got rid of SHIB because SHIB did its purpose. Shiba was introduced to bring liquidity into the Shiba project to create Shiba Swap. Now, the next step that they have going on is the NFTs. That's done with the leash token. So that leaves the Shiba token out. And then they're also making their own Shibarium blockchain, which is going to be ran by the Bone token. So that, again, leaves Shiba out. So in my understanding, Shiba was created just for liquidity to bring their DEX to life.
Interesting. Did you see that article today that came out in reference to SHIB being manipulated by some of the exchanges?
Oh, totally.
And then what is your insight on that?
Well, I was wondering what was going on because Shiba, I don't know how high it went, but with my bag that I had, it went up to $35,000. I had $35,000 worth of SHIB, and all of a sudden it dropped down to 20. So I assumed, okay, maybe there's a consolidation going on. Normally there is, especially when you have a big drive from 20,000 up to 30, 35,000, and it drops back down to 20. That's usually them trying to make a consolidation line at the 20 mark. However, it's been dipping down to the 15, and now it's back up to the 20. Then it's down to the 18. Then it's down to the 20. Then you have a lot of FUD out there now, which is driving the coin to stay level. I'm not sure what's going on with the coin, whether putting it on another major exchange will help or not. I don't think it will. There's got to be some game changer brought in for that specific coin. And like I just explained, there's really nothing else for that coin.
Okay, perfect. Now, Derek did say thank you to both of us because he's got some profits off of SHIB. And that's kind of where we're going to be going here in a little moment, talking about taking profits and, of course, exit strategies. That's something that, oh, dear, Banana Bread, I hear that all the time. That's like, I think the most common question on Crypto Night in Canada is like,
yeah, I'm in.
How do I get profits? How do I get out? What should I be doing? Is the sky falling? What's happening? Perfect. Now, Tim and Nancy Danter Nancy mentioned that she's all excited about Theta, and that's tying right back into the metaverse.
Yeah, unfortunately, as far as I know, Tim sold his bag because of the whole Binance thing. What I did was I actually transferred it over to the Theta wallet. They have their own wallet on their website that you can store T-Fuel and Theta in. I have 198 tokens, which was a good one because, I bought in at like, I think it was $10.50 a token. I put in, I think 1,000. It was that was my first real, that was my second real big investment. I bought OMI. I bought 2,000 worth of OMI. I put 1,000 in for Theta, and it was like, I think 1050. There was a pump way back when that knocked it up to like 19. I went ahead and I sold. I made a decent amount. I think I made 1,500 off of it. When it dropped back down, of course, I bought back in because I know this project, it's got great potential. Like, not even potential, it's just great, period. So I bought back in, and now that's going to sit in my wallet and just, it'll sit there. Unfortunately, in order to stake it, you need like, what do you need? 1,000 Thetas, I think it is, and 10,000 T-Fuel to stake either one. So I'm probably not going to hit that, but the fact is that I have 198 tokens, and they're safe and secure right now.
Perfect. And there, Nancy answered MC's question about why Theta is good for the metaverse, and it's simply going to be used to run the back end of the metaverse. So that makes it, and I think, oh, look at that, she saw it. So thank you, Nancy. Want to pause and be legging for the rest. Okay. And then I thought you needed 10,000 to use the Theta wallet.
No, you can put whatever amount you want in, but if you want to stake on their node, you need 10,000. You need 1,000 Theta tokens, or if you want to stake T-Fuel, you need 10,000. But their main wallet, you can go ahead and put your Theta in there, even though it's less than that, just to store it, because it's not an ERC20 token. It's actually on Theta's own blockchain. So there's been a problem where people have taken Theta and sent it on the ERC20, and bye-bye, you're not getting your coins back now because they didn't do enough research to understand exactly what blockchain the token's on.
So perfect. Now we got a couple of questions here from Panda. Is it too late to get into Saitama? And where do you buy it? On Gate.io?
You can buy it on Gate.io, but I don't know whether you get reflections, which is your staking for just keeping it. I know on LBank you do get the reflection, the 2%. Is it too late? No, it's still a very young project. I've been watching it all day. It's been up and down, up and down, it's been up and down for the last month. But the up and down has been in a positive growth pattern, except for right now. The last week, it's been kind of, the last 3 days, it's been kind of steady. Let's just say the last 3 days, the up and down has been in steady markers. But no, you're not too late. You can always get in.
Absolutely. Just a lot of times, if you get in a little bit later, you don't make as much profits, but you still make profits.
Yeah, the key is either to break even and be able to actually hold the token and be proud of it, or, get it going, make some profits.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as long as a coin has a function, you're usually almost guaranteed that you're going to get some kind of growth in the coin.
Mm-hmm. And with it having the 2% reflection, you know, you're regardless of what you paid, even if it goes down a bit, which, yeah, I had an issue with that there not too long ago, but wasn't in the right mindset at the time. But you know, you get reflections on it, so just holding it, you get interest. So
Well, exactly. Yeah, staking is pretty awesome. Any coin that you can stake, you want to make sure you've got it in an exchange that's going to give you a half decent return on your staking.
yeah.
Because, you might as well make your coins work for you and make you a little bit of extra money.
Yeah, well, right now it's 2%, and then what they're saying is when SATA Mask comes out, it's going to be bumped up to 4% if you keep it staked within their wallet / exchange.
That's perfect. Now, is there any kind of farming that you can do with Saitama yet? I haven't heard of any, but
I'm not sure. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about SATA farming. I know Shiba you can do farming. I think there's a lot of people that since it's not moving, a lot of people have actually paired it up and have it farming. But I haven't heard anything yet about Satama.
okay. And here's another question here from MZ. How many zeros do you think it could kill?
I would say at least 2 more within the next year. It just killed a zero the other night. So, and that's when I bought back in, was just after it reached that zero. I bought back in.
Well, that was the funny thing, because I remember you messaging me saying, "I've just got out of Saitama." Then, not even 24 hours later, I found my point back in again.
Yeah, it's because I was down 12 grand, and it's all profit. But 12 grand is my that's my mortgage payment for a year, and the emotional part. I actually got sucked into the emotional part. With me withdrawing it, waiting a day or two to get back in, I lost out on roughly $30,000 in profit for having paper hands. That was a very expensive lesson. But it's all profit, so I'm technically not out 30 grand. I missed the opportunity of achieving an additional 30 grand. That's the way I look at it.
Oh, understandable. And Cesar wants to know, what is your favorite coin?
Oh, Satama.
Yeah. I kind of thought that was it, but
Well, yeah, it's
you do
doing
love
great
Saitama.
things. If they achieve everything that they're talking about, you'll be able to, because they're partnering with Visa right off the hop. So when the mask comes out, you'll be able to use your Visa and buy tokens, and it'll work like an exchange. You'll buy your token, and as soon as you buy it, it's in your wallet. You're not having to find an on-ramp, convert your fiat to Ethereum or Bitcoin, then send it with gas fees over to MetaMask, and then go into Uniswap and buy it with gas fees, right? You're saving money on gas just like that. Buy it instantly directly from them, and boom, it's in your wallet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And of course, MC says, wow, 2 more means 100 times. Cool. That is pretty darn cool.
I could use just a 10x right now, and yeah.
And now Nancy mentions the emotional part is so hard.
It is, and Nancy's one to know because she got into Bitcoin at a very low pricing. She never said how many she bought, but the fact is that she is sitting at a 7 or an 8x, big time boku money. So yeah, I understand that she has felt the emotional toll with the cryptocurrency.
Oh, absolutely. And the interesting thing is, the topic tonight of taking profits and exit strategy, it ties in very, very well to the whole emotional aspect of investing. Because there tends to be 4 factors that really, really, really sort of slam home and cause a lot of motivation when it comes to making either good moves or absolutely bad moves. The first is very basic. It's that fear of losing money. And Ken kind of hit on that when he said, I was down, was it 12,000 you said?
It was 12,000, yeah.
12,000. And that created fear.
Big time.
And Ken responded to it. That's kind of one of the big ones. Now, the other one as well is the thought of leaving money on the table. So a lot of times people can sort of get to that point where they leave their money on the table, they don't take their profits, they sort of let it ride, and then the market does something absolutely horrible, and you lose a lot of money that way.
When
That's where what's that?
That always happens when you're sleeping. You wake up and you're like, damn.
That's the worst thing is that sometimes you do have to sleep. And sometimes if I can tell, if I'm going to bed and I can see the market's going to do something that I don't think I'm going to like, that may be a time to put in like a limit sell or something like that to protect yourself while you sleep.
Yeah. That's always a good idea. Yeah.
But the reality is you're tired, you want to go to bed. Half the time it's hard to be thinking straight in a situation like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now the third factor is that whole fear of missing out.
Yeah.
So many people will jump on the bandwagon. You'll notice, especially if you look at Bitcoin, for example, when it's going up and everybody's all going crazy about Bitcoin and it's to the moon, people are actually buying when it's at the top. Because why? Because they're afraid of missing out. Everybody's telling them, oh, it's going to go, it's going to go up to, $1 million one day. Well, when they hear $1 million one day, they seem to not hear the one day part. So they're sort of thinking it's an express train to becoming absolutely rich. And then, of course, when the correction comes, usually right after everybody and their dog is buying, they start to get into that whole fear part. They start saying, oh my God, I'm losing money. And then they start selling. And that's how they end up creating so much unnecessary losses.
Yeah. That's the one thing though, you're not at a loss until you sell. No matter what you paid and no matter what that coin is sitting at now, you're not at a loss until you sell. Because
Absolutely.
the next day that coin could go back up, and then you know what? You're into, 50-cent profit, even 50 cents, nickels and dimes, 50 cents. At least you're in profit.
Well, that's the thing. Every bit of profit does help. Now, the fourth psychological thing I think that really messes people up is people are not willing to admit when they're wrong. Sometimes you make a mistake and you just got to accept it. Sometimes you have to just sometimes in some situations, you'll even have to take that loss. I hate to sell at a loss, but if I make a mistake, I'll have to sort of weigh that mistake and determine. So for example, if I were to invest in a stock and it's just not going anywhere, it keeps falling because I perhaps didn't do enough due diligence when I made that investment, I can sit on that stock and wait for it to eventually get back into profit. But what I have to do is I have to weigh that. If I have another stock that I'm interested in that is making a lot of profit, I can sort of look at the stock that's not making profit and say, okay, well, if I take a small loss on this stock, put it on this other stock, will the profits I make completely negate the loss I took on the other one? So sometimes people get sort of stuck in the, I'm never going to sell it until it's in the green.
Yeah, I kind of did that. Binance had a beautiful opportunity. It was bakery coin. I can't remember what the hell it was. It was like lock it up for 90 days and you got like, I don't know what the hell it was, 75% APY or something like that. So I went ahead and I purchased $2,000 worth. That's when the coin was at like $9, and now it's sitting at like $2 and something. So instead of moving on it, I just actually have it in Bakery Swap, just collecting passive interest, which isn't very much. I don't know whether that coin will ever get back up to $8 so that I can get out of it, but as long as I don't sell it, I'm not at a loss. So if it sits there for 10 years and collects interest, hey, I might be able to get out of it in 10 years. But the fact is that I'm not going to take a loss on it.
Right. Well, I can understand that. See, and I guess my psychology is a little bit different because I'll look at that coin and I'd be like, okay, well, I have an opportunity. Let's say when you were earlier with Satima, I would look at that and I'd be like, okay, well, this is the gains I can make on this coin. Compare that to the loss I can take on the other coin. And if it's clear to me I'm going to be able to completely counteract that loss with moving that money over to another coin, I would be inclined to do it.
Yeah, if I would have done that, I would definitely would have. Like, it's $200.
Yeah.
now. So if I would have swapped that over, say 4 months ago, I would have made back the 2K.
Well, exactly. And that comes down to timing too. So
Yeah.
you sort of have to have a good idea of what you think the market's going to do, or what all of your technical analysis and just the market environment sort of makes you think where the market's going, because there's a lot of money to be made out there. Like, we're in a sort of a unique situation in the alt world that there's an insane amount of money to make and still to make, which is kind of the neat thing about it. Because it's evolving daily. I just see crazy stuff coming up down the road.
Yeah, and this is the problem people get into, though. They end up with, like, 30 different coins. And, the more coins you have, the harder it is to actually track what's going on. Unless you're really invested in every coin and, you're looking at every forum every day, you're getting live updates and you're reading everything. But, person myself, I'd try and keep it under 10 coins. That way it's a lot easier to manage. It's a lot easier to get out when the waters get rough.
Absolutely. And another thing too, here's just another, if we go back to taxes, and this is here because of Caesar talking about tax. Sometimes it's beneficial to take a loss if you've been taking a lot of big gains, because if you take a loss on a coin and then move it into something where you are going to get a gain, you can use some of that capital loss to sort of offset your capital gains a little bit. So there's a lot of times that it can actually make sense that way, in addition to simply, playing with the math, because it always boils down to math in the end.
Right. Well, once they actually have all the tax laws in,
Well, once they have them all firm.
yeah, and the simplest person such as myself can actually understand it, then you can trump it, and that would be understanding the tax law and understand how to make it work for you. And that's what Trump is famous for. He knows all the ins and outs and he makes it work for him. So you can trump it once we all understand exactly what it's supposed to be.
Well, and that's the thing. And I think probably for the next 5 years, there's going to be a lot of flux when it comes to the tax laws,
Yeah.
as they're sort of figuring things out, which...
Yeah, like, my question is, can you plead ignorance if you go to, H&R Block and they don't actually ask you if you have crypto holdings? Like, can you plead ignorance to the government if they find out? How will they find out? Is ShakePay gonna submit a yearly report to the government that you bought, $10,000 worth of Ethereum? Is the government gonna give you a call and say, all right, well, we see that you bought $10,000 worth of Ethereum. Where did it go? Are they gonna do that?
I think they will eventually. I know they're starting to look at doing stuff like that in the States, where you're having to declare any kind of movement over a specific amount.
Right.
I don't know if it's 10,000 or 1,000. But I know they were doing that in the States. So I see a lot more coming in. Can you get away with stuff this year? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But can you get away with stuff next year?
Yeah, next year is going to be the change. That'll be the game change.
I think so. I think we're sort of in this point right now. Like, you have to sort of look at the CRA. They're going to be overwhelmed with so much stuff this year because you've got the whole pandemic stuff. Then you also have all of the taxes that nobody paid last year because they've been tax free for this year. So they're going to have so much going on that I think a lot of things will fall through the cracks. Not that I'm saying people should just, try to sneak through the cracks. I'm just sort of stating that as a fact, that there's going to be things that fall through the crack. And honestly, I think people will make mistakes because crypto is new. A lot of people don't understand it completely, especially when it comes to the tax ramifications of it. So I think there will be mistakes. People are going to make them. The CRA probably knows people are going to make them, or they don't know enough to know that people are going to make them. It's going to be one of the two.
Yeah, like 3 years ago when I bought my house, I needed $3,000 left for my final down payment with the lawyer and everything. And the bank was asking me, you're 3,000 short. And I'm like, well, I just cashed in this coin, this cryptocurrency, and it's 3,300, I think it was. I was like, I'm just waiting for that once it comes through. And they wanted proof. So I showed them proof of, I did a screenshot of my account, the fact that it's been sent, the fact that it's pending e-transfer. then the money came through, and I never heard from the government whatsoever on that. So,
Perfect. Now, Panda wants to know what coin should we get into now?
well, according to Tim, the Tim and Tim,
Kitty Inu.
everybody's looking at that good old Kitty Inu. I'm even looking at it. We'll say I haven't bought any yet. I know Tim has bought some. I haven't yet, but I will be looking into that. It's
and my answer is just mirror the Oracle's portfolio, and you will do great.
Well, there's no guarantee though. That's the thing. Like, I've had a lot of good calls. Like, I've mentioned VXV, which is Vector something. It's an AI coin. Okay. There's a lot of big backers behind it. I mentioned it when I bought it back at $2.10, and it was just kissing $20 a coin the other day. So that was a good call. Shiba, Satama, those were good calls. Ryoshi's Vision, that was a good call. Kitty, it's not my call. That's the Tim Guru guy. That was his call. I will back him on it, though. It is a good call.
Oh, absolutely. And then off topic from MC, this is a picture of my cat that I had for 20 years that died almost a year ago. I usually don't see the profile picture that big. It's a little bit emotional. Absolutely. I mean, I know my cat is a member of my family. Heck, I mean, when her days are up, I'm thinking of cloning her. That's where my crypto profits will be going.
Yeah.
But absolutely, cats are just awesome. I'm very pro cat. I'm moving to Portugal is my answer. For taxes, I assume.
Yeah, I'm thinking so.
And I don't know, I lost my key phrase. The Pico Islands. And once again, Kitty. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kitty doesn't have a market cap. Sounds like we're starting to break into a song here. I'm looking at Lot X, Mini ENJ, KDA, Sand, Mana, and VXV, but I don't know what to buy.
Those are all good buys. Those are all gaming tokens. And then you have the VXV, which is the AI. If you want to go VXV, I'd wait and see if it'll drop down a bit.
Yeah. See, initially when I look at this, I was thinking, well, wait a minute, what coin is BUT and IDK? But then it clicked.
Yeah, no, those are all good picks. Those are really good picks. The pump's already started on them, so if you get into them, be careful. None of them are rug pulls, though. They're very stable coins. So
perfect. And Derek wants to know: have you looked into NFT yet?
No.
Okay.
That I haven't. There's a lot of FUD going around. There's a lot of stuff on OpenSea where Neil buys his stuff, and I'm at the sidelines right now on that.
Perfect. Pair Bear is all you have to do for market cap is multiply the current price by the coins in circulation.
Correct.
Absolutely. Then we got Kevin Hanna. Hey, Kevin, I remember you from the other night. Candace, how are you two tonight? There's only one of me, but I'm awesome. I think Ken's awesome too.
Yeah, I'm doing very well today.
And I'm really glad to see you here, Kevin, because I know for everybody, Kevin is brand new and is looking for just some information to get up to speed. I hope that you've been able to visit the 3 channels, and hopefully you've been finding some videos that have been useful to you. Obviously, if there's areas that you're stuck, feel free to ask. That's what we're here for.
Yep. Yeah, we're always here to help.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, and Pair Bear. Therefore, Kitty is 55 million market cap. I think that's going back to that calculation.
Right.
Bin and Pico, very laid back. And yeah, I don't trust OpenSea. What's your thoughts on OpenSea?
Well, like I said, I'm not really into the NFTs. There's a couple of scams that have happened in OpenSea. But all in all, if you want to get an NFT that's already been minted, that's where you want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and then we've got Hi Rai. LOL that Perry, haha. In regards to everybody turning kitty. And it's funny, I look at back in time when Rye was like, "Oh, I don't want any of that crypto. I want nothing to do with it." And Tim and Nancy worked on him and worked on him, and next thing you know, Rye has all of this Ethereum, and he's trying to work up to 5 coins. And
I
so,
remember when he was like, "Oh, I don't know what's with this Litecoin. Why everybody likes this Litecoin now? I think he's a bag holder of Litecoin."
I see a month from now, the headquarters of Kitty Eno, they have his picture on the wall as their #1 holder. It's just,
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
it's totally going to happen. Okay, and Kevin Hanna has been making a dictionary from my videos. That's kind of cool. I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Panda, I'll probably just wait till a bear market. Nothing wrong with a bear market. A lot of people always are worried about bear markets, but those are the best time to be buying because you're
Yeah,
gonna get huge deals. You just have to be patient because you got to wait for the bull market to return to
yeah.
get those.
That's that perfect time to have a restart, rethink everything you've got, rethink which way you want your money to swing, where you want it to go. It's the perfect time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And here's Panda. Do you think crypto winter might be coming soon?
I call March.
I think I would agree. I don't think we're going to see anything until after the new year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we still have some time. It's not time to be panicking yet. I know that there's a few people who are worried, but
Well,
right now,
there'll probably be that dip in December.
yeah, there may be a little dip. I think,
It
but I think we're
happens.
gonna finish September. I think we're gonna finish December fairly strong, and it's gonna be okay in January. And then after that, it's time to start looking and start paying attention to the market. And don't worry, I mean, we're gonna keep you all abreast here as well with what we're seeing as it happens. Because what would be ideal is if we can all predict the beginning of the bear market and all save a whole bunch of money. Whether it be a situation where we want to look at taking some profits, getting ourselves set up for what is going to come. That's going to be kind of ideal. So, I mean, when it comes to taking profits, especially with, we use Bitcoin as an example. When we get something major, like let's say we get that blow off top that everybody's talking about, that is a time when you've got two choices. If you're a long-term investor, you can just ride it out if you really want to. Your coins will come back up and you'll hit all-time highs again eventually. Or there are some people that sort of think along the lines of, well, okay, let's move it all into a stable coin. We'll let Bitcoin fall down to say 40K, and then we'll buy back in, because then what you end up doing is you end up getting more Bitcoin because you're buying it at a lower price.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it goes back up again to new all-time highs, all of a sudden you've got more Bitcoin, which means you've got more money. So that's kind of a neat thing to do. The only issue with that is you really have to be paying attention to the market, because you don't want to get sort of sucked into like if we have a little tiny dip, they call it like a bear trap.
Mm-hmm.
If we fall into one of those and then it goes up really quickly, if you went and then sold everything off and moved it all into a stable coin, you're pretty much, you got two options. At that point, you could either buy back in at a loss, and I wouldn't do that. If that happened to me and I got tricked by a bear trap, I probably would wait until the next bear market to move that money back into Bitcoin. At that point as well, I might start looking into the alts and see if there's something that looks very, very promising. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of one little strategy I would look at in that case there. Okay. Didn't Rye buy NFTs on Vive? I don't know.
I think he mentioned he did.
I thought he said so, but that's a Rye question.
I know Neil's all over Vivi now. He's won some drops and bought some stuff. So.
Okay, and Candace, what do you think of Mana? Well, it's decentralization is big, and I have a feeling Mana is going to play a role in the metaverse. So I think it's a good choice. I don't think it's something that I would certainly scoff at all. So I think it's a good option. Now, myself, I'm really, 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 really strong on the whole polka dot ecosystem. So one coin I'm thinking about getting into is it's called Affinity, so EFI. And EFI is basically going to be Polkadot's version of a coin, of a gaming coin. So that's going to be big. Like EFI has been around for a while. It's pretty much been consolidating for about a year. So it doesn't look impressive right now chart wise, but once the metaverse really starts taking off, I think that's a coin to watch. So you may want to write that down. Maybe just pay attention to it because it may have some incredible spurts once things start get moving with the metaverse, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we got, well, here's Rye. He loves his Litecoin. No one can tell him otherwise.
Well, yeah, Litecoin's kind of, it's doubled its price. So as long as he got back in when I used to toot about Litecoin, actually, when I was actually doing swing trading with Litecoin, I made a decent amount doing that as well. But yeah, good for him.
And the dancers also agree that they think Ryan's going to be all over the kitty. Okay. And he bought one for a video, not because he likes NFT. So I think he's talking about an NFT and not a kitty coin.
Yeah, I think that's the VV buy that he did.
Mm-hmm. And Kevin Hanna again. I'm hoping she gets to a penny before I take my profits. That may be a long time.
You might want to leave that coin for your grandkids then.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because even if you think about some of the market cap calculations that we saw a little bit earlier in chat, the amount of market cap you would need for sheep to get to a penny is just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, and they don't have a constant burn either. Their first burn occurred when they did that NFT release. That was the very first burn that Shiba did. Now, if you look at Satama, there's a burn with every buy and sell of a token.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of money that you can make in SHIB, depending on what happens. And if they were to change and institute a burn, it might change things. But I don't think you'll ever see a penny with SHIB at all.
They're slowly bringing in burns, but it's going to be a while. If it you can't look at these meme coins and just think, oh well, if Doge did it, why can't Shiba or why can't Satama?
Well,
Doge, it took Doge like 6 or 7 years to get to that point. You're talking about tokens that have been around for a year at max. Shiba came out, I think it was last August, not the August that just happened, but before, when nothing was going on with it. They just released the token and that was that. So, put another 5 or 6 years on it, maybe it could hit a penny. You never know. The possibilities are endless. Look at Doge, but look at the run Doge had before it actually got to that, that 75-cent mark or 79-cent mark.
Exactly. Now, Nancy's saying that if crypto mirrors typical stock markets, that would suggest a sell-off at the end of December, don't you think? I think that would really depend on what happens with the actual stock market itself. Now, I know that there's a lot of people speculating that the stock market is ready for some major corrections, but at the same time, I still think it's going to hold out. I think we're still going to be okay for the rest of this year. It'll come down to how quickly things start to fall apart in the new year.
Right. And most of these people that are in stocks are in crypto as well. So they very well will easily liquidate one and move to the other. So if the stocks are going down, you can look at an increase in crypto, and then you can look at crypto taking a little bit longer to hit that winter, right? So
yeah, exactly. So it's going to be more or less, think of it as a tsunami. You've got two waves. The first wave hits, and then you got to wait a bit for the next wave. So, crypto would be on that second wave. Not that tsunamis are a great analogy, but hey.
In this scenario, they are.
And this is, I mean, both of them hit pretty hard.
As long as you get out before the wave crashes, you're good.
Exactly. And Ryan's making funny faces. All right, so if we have time, and let's say I have 1 ETH that I somewhat would afford to risk, any thoughts? I'm thinking gaming coins.
That's a good bet.
Yeah.
Now this whole metaverse thing, I'm not sure how long it's going to take to actually put it all together so that it's there. It's like that one token I was looking at, NFT style it's called, and it is for clothing designers. So what I'm thinking is when the metaverse actually gets going, you're going to have an avatar that you can dress and whatnot. So like NFT style, you could have like Calvin Klein creating digital art clothing, or Guess or whoever else these big clothing companies are. But I don't know how long it's going to take for it to evolve to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the hype is gaming coins. So if you took a 1 ETH and kind of do your due diligence, go look at the coins you're thinking of, pull up the white papers, and that's a must. Read those white papers word for word, see where they started and where they expect to go and how long it's going to take to get there. And then take your ETH and divide it evenly into each coin that you want to participate in. That way you have a balanced portfolio where if one's not doing so good, maybe the other ones are. So you're still, you're like this. In the end, though, that's still even. That's still balanced. You're down and up. It's still, you're breaking even, right? The idea is to get into crypto, not to lose money. To make money is what you want to do. However, if you can break even, you're still not at a loss. It's like going to the casino and looking at all the games and walking out the door without playing the game. Hey, you were there, you've seen it play, you had fun, and yeah.
Yeah, and here's my affinity. So that's definitely a good coin. To be honest, though, if you're sitting on 1 ETH, I would probably stay on that ETH until we see a little bit more movement with the metaverse. I think we're still a little bit early to be adopting. I think your returns on ETH right now are still going to be higher.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably wait. I would say till the end of the year, and look in January towards where you want to move that.
And watch out for what influencers you may be watching on YouTube talking about these, because a lot, almost all these influencers already bought a bag. And now they're promoting it to get everybody to buy in so that their bag is worth more and then they can go ahead and sell. I hate to say it, but I see it all the time. I see, one influencer, I won't mention his name, but I seen him, he made a post. He's like, "Oh guys, there's this new hot coin. I got to go check it out and I'll be back to you guys in like an hour." So it's like, oh yeah, so if it's good, you're going to buy a huge freaking bag and then you're going to do a video to, 175,000 subscribers. They're all going to buy into it and then you're laughing. So,
yeah. And not to single out America, but most of the American personalities in crypto tend to be the ones who are pumping these coins like crazy.
Yeah, and you'll find a lot of them, they move from coin to coin, whatever the next hot coin is, all of a sudden they're into it. No, you want to find, if you really want to follow YouTubers, find somebody that got in at the ground floor and is still passionate and talking about it. That's the best YouTuber that you could follow.
Yeah, absolutely. And then all of the Canadian ones, I think the Canadian ones tend to be pretty good. It's interesting when you actually look at the Canadian YouTubers in the financial district. Most of them are just showing you their portfolios and just buying stuff. And then you've got then you got Rye, myself, and the Danters, and we're going off in a little bit of different directions. There's a couple of others out there that have some really great channels as well, but it's a completely different environment, I think, up here. And the other thing too is if you have a YouTuber that's pumping a coin, talk to them about it. If they're not even going to interact with you, then I wouldn't trust anything they're going to say to you. I mean,
yeah, I did that. I did that to one major YouTuber. I watched one of his videos and I can't remember what coin he was talking about. And I went through the white paper and then I went on to his to the comments of that video. And I was like, dude, this smells so much like rug pull. It's not even funny. And then 2 days later, I got a reply back in my email from him saying, yeah, dude, it was a rug pull. I was just like, well, do your due diligence, man. If the white paper doesn't seem right, don't make a video about it. Make a tweet saying, hey, here's this coin, not sure what it's going to do. Have a look, instead of making a pump video to help out the devs when they decide to walk away with all the liquidity,
Oh, exactly. And so once again, Kevin, SHIB is not going to get to $1. It would be nice, or sorry, get to a penny. It would definitely be nice if that were to happen for you, but I wouldn't put all your eggs in that basket for sure.
No, I would keep some. Like, I know I got rid of all of mine, but I can buy back in, right? You always have the option to buy back in. So, if something does come out, like I said, right now, Shiba's pretty stagnant. It's fluctuating up and down a little bit. There's no big news coming out. You have everybody hyping Shibarium. They're like, oh, SHIB's going to move. Shibarium's coming out. Well, yeah, the Bone token is going to be used on Shibarium. So why the hell would the SHIB token move? That doesn't make sense. If anything, Bone should be moving.
Perfect. Now, I love this question from Derek. Thoughts on Miami coin and the New York coin? Is this the start of something? It absolutely is. Because basically what you're looking at with both of these mayors is they're looking at basically taking the way it would work is any coins, Bitcoin, for example, that is mined within Miami, a small portion of the fees that are generated from that would then get put into a fund, and they would then see, this is a part I would edit out as my tongue got all tied up. But what they would then do is they would take that money and they would actually reward people for using a Miami coin, which is going to be their own sort of proprietary coin used within Miami. So people would be paid in Bitcoin for using Miami coin. And it's the exact same thing in New York. So it's just a really interesting way to create a lot of money. And the amount of money they're talking about is a massive amount of money. Like we're talking about a fifth of their gross domestic product for those cities. So I think it's a game changer. I think it's definitely going to be something that will drive adoption and will be really good for the price of Bitcoin as more and more mayors look at this and say, oh my God, I can give all this money to my people. I mean, that's like instant re-election.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That idea there makes it a lot easier for adoption with the older crowd, because they're like, what's Bitcoin? What's this? What's that? Well, if they have a city coin, it's a lot easier to get in and understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here we have Nancy saying that she's looking at beginning or at least planning an exit strategy in mid-December. What I would say is always have an exit strategy. It doesn't matter how good the market is. Have a plan to get out in case things do start to hit the fan. But make sure that you don't just sort of jump into it willy-nilly. You want to make sure that it is actually warranted to jump into it. And I think, well, everybody's got everybody else's back in this community, which is nice. I don't think it's going to be a surprise, especially for people who are coming to all three channels. I think we're all going to see this coming and we're going to know. It's the people who don't really pay attention to what's going on. Those are going to be the people who are going to be caught off guard and not have their exit strategies and be able to save themselves some money.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of when it comes to an exit strategy, like my first thing will be I'll dump everything into a stable coin. That way it's not going to lose its value. And then I'm gonna reflect and readjust.
And now, are you looking at putting it into one of the exchanges to get some nice interest on that?
That's what I was looking at. Either go with the Ledin in Canada, or I was thinking of possibly filtering the money into my bank account, make some extra mortgage payments, because you're only allowed to pay 15%, I think it is, per year in total for one lump sum payment. Or I could just let it, like I said, stay in the stable coin. At least if it's in a stable coin, you're not going to lose the value on it, and you can withdraw it for emergencies. So you could look at the stable coin as a savings account for emergencies, but it could also be your savings account to jump back into the market when the market starts getting hot again, instead of, exiting with all that money, spending it all, and then the market starts heating up again. And then you're like, oh, geez, now, I got to pull out of my paychecks just to, get back into the market because you ended up selling all or spending all your profit, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, this is a great question. I love this question. So Rai says, why wouldn't Facebook just create their own one-size-fits-all token for the metaverse? The answer is they probably will.
Isn't that Diem coin or Diem or something? Yeah.
But that's only part of the answer. The other part of the answer is that Facebook is not going to be able to control the metaverse. They're going to, because already Microsoft wants to create their own version. You're going to see Apple create their own version. You're going to see a lot of different versions of the metaverse, and they're all going to end up connecting because it's
going to
just
be like the space station. You got one part from China, one part from the US, right? One part
I think
from
so.
Right, and it's all going to connect, and you're going to be able to,
because that's the problem. If you create a walled garden for each of these big organizations, it's just not going to work. It goes against the whole idea of being interconnected. It goes against the ideas of the internet. It goes against the ideas of decentralization. So I think we're going to see this all get married into one giant thing, and it'll probably end up being called the metaverse, the whole big thing. But Facebook will control a small portion, Apple another portion, Microsoft another portion. So by that token, that token will have a limited use to the Facebook portion of the metaverse. So you're going to see some of the bigger things, like, for example, when we're talking about Affinity, that would be something that would have more of a universal usage, as well as any other tokens that are being created within decentralized tokens, of course.
Yeah, so it'd be like a mall where each store has their own store bucks, right? But then there's the mall buck, which can be used at any store.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I would rather have a mall buck instead of,
the store
buck, because, and for some reason I can feel a Starbucks joke coming on, but I'm not going there.
I'm a Timmy's connoisseur, not a Starbucks connoisseur.
Well, I don't go to either. I mean, I will go to Timmy's if it's free, but I tend to make my own coffee because it's like $0.25 a coffee.
Well, I do, but I have 2 teenagers that kind of drink coffee now too. So then, when Dad goes to make his coffee in the morning and there isn't one there, my day starts out rough.
Exactly. And I guess we're back to the whole, I think this is the pumping of different coins. So there was an American YouTuber who was arrested for that recently. FBI is cracking down massively on YouTubers, mainly crypto YouTubers. It is getting wild. But you know what? If these people are scamming, their viewers, I say all the power to the FBI. Because
I don't know how well that's going to go, though, because just because somebody tells you to do it and you do it, it doesn't mean the other person should be held liable.
Well, it depends on how they're doing it. I mean, if the person is actually pumping a coin, so if you're going out and you're buying a whole bunch of coin, and then you're telling all your users, oh, this coin is going to the moon, you need to buy it and hold, and then, after they pump the coin, you're selling it and kind of screwing all of your users. That's sort of the situation I'm thinking about.
So then how would that work if you have this is not financial advice, blah, 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 yet, you post that at the beginning of your video and then you're pumping it. Do you think that actually saves your butt by having, not?
I don't think it does because I mean, even though we can say this is not financial advice, I know that, people will take exactly what I say and they're going to go and they're going to do exactly what is not financial advice coming from me. So you have to take a certain amount of responsibility with that.
What about saying this is for entertainment purposes only? But I know a lot of YouTubers are saying that. So they're presenting their channel as just entertainment.
Yeah, well, it's still the same thing, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, no matter how much you tell somebody, okay, this is not financial advice, but I'm going to go buy Kitty Inu, and, you're going to have users who are going to be like, oh, yeah, we got to get that Kitty Inu, because Tim pumped it, or, whoever pumped it. So people will follow their advice. Now, in those situations, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way people think.
Right.
But the situations I'm talking about is, let's say I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, there's this crap coin that's like sitting at a fraction of a penny. If I tell all my users to buy this coin, it'll probably double. So I'm just going to buy a bunch of them first, tell my users to buy that coin, it doubles, I sell it. Well, that to me, that's intent. So I intended to use those people to make a profit, and to me, that's
Financial
what
gain.
that's wrong, because I'm
Yeah.
creating it.
Now you're looking into the financial criminal code, the financial criminal code, right?
Well,
So yeah,
exactly.
you're
And
into the Wall Street
those
stuff.
are the ones I think, like, if the FBI wants to crack down on people doing that, absolutely. They're breaking the law.
Yeah.
It's not even just that they're taking advantage of their users. I mean, as a YouTuber, everybody who's here, who follows, who watches my videos, they're precious to me. I would never take advantage of them, and that other people would.
Right.
That annoys me to no end. It's like I'd like to take there's a few YouTubers I can think of, and I'm not going to mention names, but I'd like to, give them a couple little slaps and say, holy dear, these people are paying for your lifestyle. Give them the respect they deserve. Don't crap on them.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about Kitty Inu, I think this would be a good little project for the viewers that are here now. Everybody go tonight and look at the Kitty Inu white page, and then come back to this video and comment on it and tell us what you think of their project. Make sure you read it like 3 times. Read it once and then wait an hour and go reread it again. That way it absorbs nicely. Once it's absorbed and you form an opinion, come back to this video, post what you think about it. This could be very interesting to see what people think
Absolutely.
of it, since it's in the center of becoming a hot coin. We as me and Candace aren't pushing that you buy it, but I would like to see you guys do your own due diligence, and I would like to hear about it.
Absolutely. And I will reply to every single comment that you guys throw down there. Okay, so folks, hit the like and subscribe. That comes from Tim and Nancy, Nancy. And we have Kevin again. So Kevin has 8 Dodge coins, 6 XLM, 29,036 sheep coins. Do you think I made a selection that could possibly profit? Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm not sure with that many sheep, because what I had half a billion sheep originally, and then when I finally sold off my bag, I had 288 million coins. So I'm not sure whether 29,036, whether you could make a profit if there is a swing. I guess if it goes up a bit, you will make, I guess, a penny at least if it moves at all. XLM, I think that's a pretty good one.
XLM, I think, is out of the 3. I would say XLM has the best chance.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think Doge is now, it's kind of yesterday's meme coin.
Just Doge, keep it so that you can have the title that you own Doge. That's basically
now,
it.
Mind you, if Elon still sends that ship to the moon called Doge, that might cause a pump way in the future when that happens. But outside of that, I don't think you're going to have a lot of movement on Doge.
Yeah, no, not at 8. I know Elon's doing that whole. He's working with the Doge team to make Doge 2.0. I haven't read about it, so I'm not sure exactly what all the details are, but I know that's something coming. I don't know what it'll do. I don't know anything about it, but if you guys actually Google it, you can find an article about it. You can go ahead and read about it and see what this Doge 2.0 is going to be all about.
Perfect. All right. So how much did you buy High Bar for, Panda? And the answer, 27, 28, and 14 cents. That is Tim. Oh, okay. So I guess they're both here then. I am glad he has one. Good thing I am listening to the stream, so I know his plan. That is always good.
Yeah, us men always have a plan. It's not usually a good plan, but we have a plan.
USDC. And interesting enough, there is going to be a Polkadot stable coin.
Stable, yeah. I was hearing about that.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact letters. I don't know if it's, I don't think it's PSDC. I'd have to look that up. I can get back to you guys though about that. Next stream, I'll find out what it's called and I will let you guys know. Panda still made a good pump in September. Not a chart person, but it still looks good. Any news? Really interesting. Every time I hear Panda, I always go back to Panda told a joke that he's a financial advisor. And so that sort of stuck for a little while.
I remember that everybody's like, oh, well then Panda this, Panda that. He's like, no, man, I was just kidding, guys.
So the other day, I actually got something in the mail right here. It is a calculator from the Canadian Securities Institute.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Yeah, I'm actually training to become a financial advisor. Because
right, I remember you saying that.
The only reason, well, I you know, it'd be nice to be legal to be able to legally give my advice. But even then, once I've finished the course and I'm certified, it'll pretty much be like, I am a financial advisor, but I'm not your financial advisor.
Yeah.
So it'll make things a little more complicated, but it's a great course. I learn something new every day. Like I actually know the difference between Schedule 1, 2, and 3 banks.
I didn't even know they had a schedule. I thought they were just 9 to 5.
I need to get a soundboard because that could have used a rim shot really, really badly. Okay, Tim and Nancy Dancer. I've heard that if you have room in your RRSP, you can put those earnings into your RRSP, but check with an accountant. I'm not sure what earnings I'm talking about. Okay. The space station analogy was mint. That was a really good analogy, Ken. Ken knows me so well. That answer made perfect sense. Thanks, guys.
And yes, Rye, Satom is still a good buy. Like they haven't completed everything yet. They're just getting started, really. Still, they're just getting started. So if you want to put some money into Satama, go right ahead.
Okay, and more H-bar. And I was closed-minded, not thinking of a Microsoft version, for instance. Interesting stuff. I think the metaverse is going to be as big as the internet once it actually gets out there and running. It's going to be transformative.
Yeah, and if it's ran on Theta like they're planning on it, you know, I don't know what that's going to do to Google and their servers, because they're going to be using a portion of everybody's hard drive for basically a server and buffer system. So I don't know. That could lead Google out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And in the house, we have Nate Palmatier. He will be our guest next week. And next week, me and Nate are going to be talking about spam and scams. It's going to be a night of dirty business for sure.
Spam. It's going to be a Hawaiian treat, yo.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that. Nate is awesome. If you guys have not seen Nate's channel, definitely check that out. That way there you'll have a bit of familiarity with the Nate Meister before he shows up next week. All right. Kevin again. I've been seeing YouTube channels where you send them a certain number. Oh, dude.
No, scam.
Do that.
I've seen that. They had that whole Elon Musk video where he was talking with some chick and some other guy in a podcast or whatever, and it's all like lit up around the screen. Send this much and we'll give you this. Send this much and we'll give you that. Huge scam. Yeah. Huge.
Kevin, be here next week with Nate because we're going to talk about this, but absolutely anything on the internet that's offering you something free, you need to question it big time. 99.999% of the time, it's somebody trying to scam you, trying to steal your hard-earned money. So don't let this happen to you. Whew, holy banana bread. Though that was a perfect timing for that comment after Nate. And I would never pump something, nor would I buy something. Tell everyone, then go and sell it without saying a word. That's the issue. And you know what? This is the thing about Rye. I mean, hopefully, I think a lot of you have been to his channel. If you haven't, the link, of course, is in the is down below in the About section here. So you want to definitely head over there. One of the things about Rye is even when he does sponsor something, he's absolutely upfront about it. He'll tell you the good, he'll tell you the bad. He won't sponsor something if it is something he doesn't believe in, which is like absolutely awesome. It's one of the reasons why Rye is, the mentor for a lot of people in this community. So he has integrity. That's what they're missing in those places in the States. So, absolutely give Rye a check out if you have not already met Rye. And geez, hey, Nate. And you're right, MC. And we got Nate. I think no matter what you say, people could possibly sue you. That's probably true. Mm-hmm. Cell patterns can easily show a pump and dump. Glad they are being rounded up. Absolutely. Then, hey, Panda, Kevin had a huge scam. I see YouTubers saying I am not sponsored before they start their video. As long as they're telling you the truth that they're not sponsored. I've seen 3 channels like that show up in my suggestion list. Keep in mind, too, Kevin, a lot of the scams that show up on these channels, the YouTuber has no choice. Like they can't choose what commercials get put on the beginning of their video. So sometimes if it's a financial scam, they're going to be targeting financial channels. So it may not be any reflection on that YouTuber at all. It isn't a reflection on them at all because, they could throw one on the beginning of one of my videos if they really wanted to. It's just, I'm not big enough yet to be targeted by them. But when I get bigger, you'll probably see some of those scam things on the front of mine. But I'm going to educate you guys along the way so you won't fall for stuff like that. See, Kevin, that's like me saying, give me all your coins and hope for the best. Yeah, you don't want to do that. So my bad, where did you guys buy Kitty Inu again? So where are you getting your kitty?
I think it's Uniswap right now is the only place that has it.
I think so. I think that's the only place I've heard of it so far.
So you got to pay that gas fee, unfortunately, guys, if you really want to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So all I can say is if you do, and you got to pay that high gas fee, make sure your buy is worth it.
And here we have, here you go, Kevin, from the Rye Father himself. Total scam. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Kitty has a better white paper than Shiba. Actually, yes, I have read some interesting stuff about Kitty. I think Kitty has a lot more. When they were designing Kitty and putting together the white paper, they actually had some back-end functions in mind for Kitty. And part of the reason that they went with Inu and kind of the meme is that it would just get them more attention. So They weren't really designed as a meme coin. They just decided to jump on the meme ship to get the attention, which is smart if you think about it.
Yeah, and Shiba's white paper is about them creating their DEX. Well, they've done that. It's done. Their DEX is there, right? So,
perfect. I'm glad to hear that, Kevin. All right, and we got Riley. Got to use Uniswap, Panda. Gas fees are wild, though. Gas fees are really ridiculous.
Try in the middle of the night. That's all I can suggest.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever people are not using it as much, the fees tend to be a bit lower.
Yeah.
Ken, is Satama still a buy?
Yes.
That was a quick answer.
Not financial advice, but yes.
Yeah, Kevin, never send crypto to anyone when they say they will send some back. So there you go. And I mean, and think about it logically, why would somebody like Elon want you to send him a Bitcoin? He doesn't need it. There's no reason that somebody would ever do that. So it's kind of one of those things, but it's amazing how many people fall for stuff like that.
Yeah, they were trying to spin it about a month ago. It was like Elon's big $50 million giveaway. That was the whole scam. And it was like, yeah, donate this much and you'll get this much. If you give us this much, it's Elon giving it back to the community. No, it wasn't.
Absolutely. And so I am not a financial advisor, according to Panda. I'm still going to joke about it, Panda, because it's funny. I'm just being honest. Cool, Candace, can you send me info on that? I'm not sure what you're asking for info on, but message me, Nate, on Facebook, and I will I'll get any info that you need. Speaking of Facebook, we do have a Facebook group for the Financial Brew, so you definitely want to join that. We've got a lot of members in there, and I tend to post a bit more technical analysis in there and just, odds and ends. So it's a great little page. If you're not in there yet, definitely join that. There's a link for that as well down below. And we got a hey-ho. There's my version of the hey-ho. Nice, Ken. Ha ha ha. I almost should have just sent Ryan a link so he could jump in and go, hey-ho. Okay, and I'm still not sure what coin for my exit strategy. I'm thinking of the Luna stablecoin. Forget the ticker USD. Any thoughts? Well, the first thought is stablecoin means that it's going to very, very closely approximate the price of fiat US dollar. So I think every stablecoin is probably okay. However, I would stay away from Tether. I just don't trust Tether.
Yeah, USDC or what's that other one? DAI, is it? DAI? That's the newest
one.
Or
that Poly, the polka dot one.
Yeah,
let's say Polywog. They should have a Polywog coin. That sounds kind of cute.
It's probably out there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Can I hear props for Litecoin? AMC is going to accept LTC.
Yeah, AMC is going to accept SHIB too.
I have heard rumblings though in the financial verse that Litecoin, tends to have a pump right around the time Bitcoin starts to fall. So,
I'm fond of Litecoin. I like Litecoin. I've done most of my transactions. Anytime I can do a transaction, I do it through the Litecoin network because the fees are just so cheap.
And then we are LTC brothers. And we have Kevin once again. Is it my imagination running wild? But I think with the changing of the ages from computer age to space age, I think the crypto coin will be the universal currency. I will not eventually it will. It's not going to be an overnight thing though. There's still a lot of pain for crypto along the way because the old guard is going to fight and kick and drag their feet on this as long as they possibly can. There's just too much money and there's too much power involved. Banks aren't just going to roll over and and die. They're gonna fight us every step of the way. So yes, it'll happen, but
in time.
Will be. But you know what? Here's the beautiful thing about the fact that it's going to take so long. It means that there's going to be so much opportunity to make some money. Because once everything goes completely mainstream, your opportunities are not going to be the way they are today. They're going to be much, much, much limited. Yeah,
because you see Visa now rolling over. They're getting involved in the cryptoverse. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, LOL, Rise that guy. We all know each other here. Thanks, Candace. Kind words. And Panda 100, and we're back to Nate. Great comment about Rye. Anyone remember that guy that was harassing him? Was his name Darren? Never be a Darren. Yeah, never be a Darren or a Karen. It was a T. And now apparently Brandon. Apparently that's also a new one.
A new one?
Yeah. I've only heard about it recently. All right. And I just tried to read the Kitty Inu page. Can't focus. They all look the same. Are the devs being doxxed a big one for you?
Yes. Because then at least that there's real people behind the project. It's not, one guy trying to create a rug pull. Once they release the person's name, you can go ahead and Google them and search them, make sure the pictures match up. Mm-hmm. You can read information about them. You can actually see that it says in the white paper, they are so-and-so, and they've done this. You can go ahead and Google them and it'll say, they went to Harvard and studied whatever. And they've achieved this and that, It's the best way to go. It's the best way to go. Undoxed, you're taking a chance, Depends how young the coin is, though. Sometimes they want to get the coin out before they get the doxing. But
Absolutely.
I really think doxing should come along with the coin being released.
Perfect. And one of the dancers is going to bed. Good night, dancer. One dancer. Oh, and for on your financial advice course, keep forgetting context moves fast in these streams. I'm putting my kids to bed right now. Absolutely, Nate. I'll give you some information about it. If that's something you're interested in, then we could be study buddies. That'd be kind of cool. Night, Tim. I think crypto can be, especially with the metaverse. And more good night to the dancers. What are your thoughts about crypto if there are EMT bombs, like electricity shutting down kind of thing? I saw Bill Gates running a conference with the electrical grid shutting down. Oh, this is a can of worms, Nate. Can of worms. Okay, so I won't talk so much about EMTs because I think what's more likely than an EMT would be a coronal mass ejection. So if you had a coronal mass injection, we're talking about Carrington event size. So the Carrington event was a coronal mass ejection that hit before we had a lot of electricity. All we really had was telegraph wires, but it was powerful enough that telegraphs were running without being plugged in. It was blowing up telegraph lines. It caused a lot of chaos. Actually, some of them caught fire and everything. So what would happen is if we had one that size and it hit the Earth today, it could potentially completely take out our power grid for 6 months or more. Because the problem is if it blows transformers, transformers are really, really, really hard to make. They're not something that we just have a ton of them sitting around, waiting to replace. The beautiful thing, though, was that this could all be preventable because we do have the technology to harden our power grid against this, but nobody wants to spend the money. So that's where we're at. So if that were to happen, it would be a mess. But look at it this way. It's not just crypto. People who have cash, so fiat money, they're not going to be able to access that either because, no bank machines will be working. Your bank won't have a clue how much money you have because everything's electronic. Pretty much the only thing you would have cash-wise would be, even if you had a bunch of dollars under your pillow, it would be worthless. What's going to be valuable in time like that is if you've got like a pantry full of beans, you could probably trade a can of beans for something because that will be the thing. And then at the same time, if somebody's hungry enough, well, you may need to defend yourself against them. I'm starting to sound like a conspiracy nut, but it's kind of the
very
whole.
True. That's very
It is true.
It's very, very true with the way society is right now.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
there's a lot of people out there that wouldn't think twice to get food to break into your house and hit you over the head with a baseball bat. They wouldn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it's unfortunate because way back when you always, you love thy neighbor and help thy neighbor. And now it's like thy neighbor will take it from you. It's society.
Now the good news is that coronal mass ejection has to be aimed right at us for there to be a concern. Now, if you remember back in October, we had about 3 of them aimed straight at us, but none of them were strong enough. All they did is, they sent the northern lights a little bit further south. So if you were lucky, you might have been able to see a bit of green in the night sky. I think Halloween was one of the nights where it happened. But the odds of it happening are not great, but it will happen someday. So obviously, maybe after the economy recovers from the human malware event we're coming out of, then we might be able to look at, starting to harden some of these things. So it is a possibility. Absolutely. I'm just not going to. I don't think it's something, though, that we have to worry too much about it. Oh, poor Banda. His name is Brandon. I'm so sorry. Oh, let's go, Brandon. And Nate just rubs the salt in Panda's wound. Night, Tim and Nancy from our good old friend Kevin. And don't worry, Panda, you'll always be Panda to us. I've already forgotten that you're Brandon. Read the kitty light paper. Who is their large target audience?
Yeah, that's a good
It
question.
is. It really is.
Because it's like a Mario Kart game that they're going for. So you'd be looking at teens, people in their 30s.
Yeah. We also got to look at too older people. They have a lot of nostalgia connection to some of those old Mario Kart type games.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, you could really hit. Yeah, I mean, you could hit quite a large audience.
Yeah, and
And
Tim put
then,
out Tim put out a video earlier that he did with the other Tim, and
mhm.
yeah, Asian market.
You
That was
also, oh God, the Asian market would be
Asian
huge.
market for video games is just it's insane.
And plus, the fact is, I mean, it's a solid coin. Investors, whether they want to get involved in the gaming part or not, might still be buying and trading the coin.
Mhm.
I mean, well, Tim Danter is doing it already. So, okay, guys. So, what are your profit taking and exit strategies? Okay, let's boil it down. So, I think in my case, I'm always looking for profit taking opportunities. Um, give you a couple of examples. Back in the early days of Mr. Hemsley, he had his favorite thing called Weed MD. I was going to go to the moon. It didn't, but I bought into it. I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? It does seem like it should, and I really thought it would too. So I bought a bunch of it, and then one day I'm sitting there and I'm hearing the Wall Street bets people starting to go on and pumping the marijuana stocks. I sit there and I watch the thing. I watch Weed MD go all the way up to 90 cents. As soon as it hit 90 cents, I knew that it wasn't going to go much higher than that. So I just sold the entire lot of it, made a nice little profit. Because,
Nice.
sometimes it's opportunity. So
Yeah.
that's part of profit taking. Another example as well is with the last Bitcoin hit. So when Bitcoin hit its all-time high again, was that Thursday or Wednesday morning? Whichever morning, a couple of days ago or so, maybe 3 days ago. I was sitting on, I had Hut 8. I didn't have Hive, but I had another couple mining stocks in addition to Hut 8. And I was sitting there and they hit some nice profits in the morning. And I knew that Bitcoin tends to fall after it hits an all-time high. It doesn't do well with all-time highs, at least lately. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take these profits because these things are going to these mining stocks are going to go back down, and that's what I did. I took my profits and I sat on it and I just waiting for them to fall. And once I think they're down at the bottom, again, I'll buy back into them because I still believe in the stocks, but I'm looking at, I'm basically by just simple logic and a little bit of TA, I'm sort of looking at the sell high, buy low. So I will do profits that way.
Now, are you taking those profits or are you going to be reinvesting?
Oh, I'll reinvest. I mean, otherwise I'll lose money on them if I keep them as fiat. So all my profits always get reinvested one way or another. In some cases, it's just a situation where my actual profit is that, maybe I started off with 10 shares and without adding any extra money to it, I end up with, like, say, 12 shares.
Right.
So that's kind of, for me, that's the perfect type of profit taking is by, reinvesting it. And when it comes over to crypto, well, a lot of times Bitcoin is my long term. So I will, especially with altcoins, if I take a profit on that, I'll usually just move it over into Bitcoin. Unless I'm planning to get back in again on that coin, if it's a situation where I know it's just going to be a short-term drop.
Right.
And a couple of other factors that I will apply to that is how much I have of it. Because if you don't have a lot of a particular coin or a particular asset, then you just don't get, it just doesn't become worth it to be grabbing profits if your profits are only going to be like 50 cents or even just $1 for all of the work that you have to do to earn $1. But now if I'm going to make $50, different story. So those tend to be the areas where I will jump in. use those strategies, take my profits. And the thing is, even if I'm wrong and it continues to go up, well, I've taken profits.
Yeah,
I
you're
would
still
rather take those profits, take that money off the table, than have that money on the table and get stuck or get caught because it decides to go back down. Because you can't, even the best TA is nothing more than understanding the probabilities.
right.
And even if the probability is 75% that it's going to go higher, there's still a 25% chance that it's not going to go higher and it's going to go down.
Yeah, it just takes that one whale to come in with 275 ETH and
Exactly.
sell. Right.
Well, there was an interesting story. It was in, I think it was in The Zone. I can't remember the name of the author of The Zone right now, but it's a technical analysis trading book. And basically, a big investor came in and met with a TA, and the TA was like, okay, this coffee stock, it's going to go down, and it's going to bounce right there. That's a resistance. And he says, oh yeah, really? So the executive went and picked up the phone. He happened to own a whole bunch of shares in that stock. And he just picked up the phone and said, will you sell all these for me, please, right away? And they, of course, then plowed straight through the resistance. And what that demonstrated is that one person, one whale, can absolutely break TA instantly.
Yeah.
Because all TA really is doing is it's just showing you the actual, the psychological, the mass psychology of people. And when you have an outlier or what we call a black swan event, the TA will be thrown completely out the window. And that's why you always have to be careful especially when you're using TA to make trades. I always wait personally until I've got, if I have a 75% chance of it breaking up, I'm going to wait till it actually starts breaking before I make any kind of moves at all. Because it's just the way probabilities work.
Yeah, it gives you a good idea of which way it may go, and then
Exactly.
once it gets to that point, watch it a little bit to actually see which way it goes.
Yeah, and also knowing that you're going to be wrong. You will be wrong.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good you are.
Oh yeah.
The best.
We've all experienced the wrongness in our choices.
If you were to take the absolute best trader in the world, I bet you they're probably wrong 2 times out of every 10 trades they make.
Oh yeah.
And that's the absolute best trader. So if you ever do make a mistake, own it. You made a mistake, cool, but don't dwell on it. Don't become one of these. You got to walk away and say, okay, you know what? I made a mistake. How did I make the mistake? Was my technical analysis wrong? Was it just the probabilities just didn't work in my favor?
Yeah. Like when I got sucked into the whole psychology of the Satama the other day, if I would have left that there and not sold, I would have made an extra $30,000 on it by now. That's just 3 or 4 days. So that's a lesson learned. It didn't cost me anything. I'm out, but it didn't actually cost me anything. So hey, I learned from it. We all make mistakes. It happens.
Oh, here we have SM Diecast is here. Glad to see you. I did remind you the other day, but and this is the thing. You know what? If you miss the Saturday Night Live stream and you want to catch it, you can always watch it Sunday morning, because I'll always put it up on Facebook for you.
He's the youngin', right?
He is. He's the one whose dad doesn't let him use Facebook.
Well, I'm glad he's here because he will profit hugely from the knowledge that we can provide him.
And if I remember correctly, SM was also doing a class on investing, and he's doing the best in the class.
Huh. Interesting.
That's what I remember. Absolutely. And then we got Dave D. Hi, I knew you were on live. Already hit the like button. Dave, I love you. You're awesome. Good to see you, Diecast. Diecast, I think, is a fan favorite for everybody. He's sort of like he's like if this was a firehouse, he'd be like that new Dalmatian puppy that everyone loves.
So true.
Absolutely. All right. Kevin, so us rural folk still use the barter system a little bit, trading furnace wood for a supply of milk for the year. That's the way we worked with our neighbors. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. To be honest, I mean, if you're in a situation that you can use a barter system, those are taxes you're not paying. It's a good
Mhm.
thing. I know I spent a summer in Florida, and one of the things I learned while I was there is that they had an underground little barter system going around. Now, this was in Gainesville. Um, those of you who are college football fans will recognize Gainesville because that's where the Florida Gators play.
Mhm.
Also, the birthplace of Gatorade.
Nice.
Yeah, Gatorade was invented by the Florida Gators as a drink to replenish electrolytes for the team, and people liked it so much that it sort of got out and became its own thing. But that's where the connection. If you ever look at the colors of the Gatorade symbol, and then look at the Florida Gators colors of the team, the football team, you'll notice they're the same.
Haha.
There you go. And I
Little
don't even
history
watch
tonight.
I
Look at
don't
that.
even watch football, but I thought alligators were really cool because being from Canada, you don't see alligators that often.
No.
All right. MC wants to know, where do you live, Kevin? Kevin lives I don't know, rural, someplace in the rural area that they can trade. Um, I'm going to guess rural Saskatchewan. That's just I'm just pulling things out of my butt, so I don't know if he's from Saskatchewan or not. I agree. I'm in the country as well, Kevin, or even do some. Nate has a farm. Isn't that kind of cool? Older people Mario Kart was my time. Haha, I'm 30. Oh, Eastern Ontario. See, if I would have read ahead in the comments before I answered that, I would have had this awesome answer to be like, you would have had to given up the name Oracle. I would have had to take it. All right. China is also forbidding the youth from gaming over X hours now. The
Yeah,
China
I seen that.
market can be relied upon at all. They have gone commie mode. Yeah, I think the pandemic, or sorry, the human malware event, because apparently if you say the P word, YouTube doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So the human malware event, I think, has really taught us that we need to be making a lot of our own stuff at home. I think a lot of people are learning that now. So I think you're going to see a lot of manufacturing returning to North America, which is good. It'll be good for the economy in the long term. It's not going to be good for the current situation with the supply chain, but
Right.
it's still gonna help here a bit. All right, let's trying to get caught up on these comments. Rye makes it look so easy.
You should have seen me last night on when I did the live stream. I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but it's broadcasting, so I'm good.
Exactly. We get here. It's like, so there, Nate's 30 minutes. Maybe they can start trading stuff. Just east of Kingston. Kingston is a nice city. I do like Kingston. I lived in Kingston for about a year. Okay, and then we got Nate again. My exit, yeah, I think exit strategy depends on your initial plan. And really, when you first begin investing, you should almost begin starting to think about your exit plan, because it should be something, even though you may not know what it is when you start, it should be one of those things that you should be starting to think about. What am I going to do? How am I going to handle this? Because this is your money. So you always want to have a backup plan. It just doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have goals. Whether you want to, pay off your car, reside your house,
Mhm.
make your savings a little bigger. You should always
Yeah,
have an idea where you want to put it, because once you have that idea, then the exit strategy, it's a little easier to figure out when you want to exit.
absolutely. Oh, RioCan is awesome. I love RioCan. And it feels good to have some profit in your bank account.
That's
It
true.
does. It
Very true.
does.
Yeah.
Well, early profits is a great way to get that emergency fund built up. So,
Mhm.
if your emergency fund is a little bit low, for sure,
It all ties in. See?
it does. I mean, everything all ties back together. And I know we always say, don't invest what you're not willing to lose. But honestly, who's willing to lose anything?
Right.
If you think about it. So even though, it's kind of drilled in our heads, we shouldn't be investing something we're not willing to lose, we should still be treating it like we absolutely don't want to be losing anything and taking
Right.
that status. You can't be too careful, and sometimes when we start looking at numbers, so when you start looking, okay, I've got this much in, I've got this much in Satoma, or I have this much in Doge or Bitcoin. Sometimes it gets really easy to not be thinking about how much it really is worth, and to get sort of caught up and saying, oh yeah, I'll just do this. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it does, because you need to be looking at how much money, if you're looking at gas fees, or, if you're looking at how much a bad trade is going to cost you, you should always be taking that into consideration.
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. Anytime I do trading now, I calculate at least 400 for gas fees for total in and out.
absolutely. And make sure you put those gas fees into your calculations when it comes to profits. And
Yeah.
because if you're not calculating the two gas fees, or let's say if you're doing some swing trading, there could be more than two gas fees.
Mhm.
You may not be taking your profits. You may actually be taking losses when you think you're taking a profit.
Yeah, that kind of happened to me the other day when I decided to get rid of my Shiba. I didn't actually transfer, like I didn't transfer it into ETH. I actually bought Satama with it. So I was like, what the hell? I'm missing like almost 4 ETH. Where the hell did it go? Right. And I totally forgot. And that's where one of those books that Tim and Nancy designed. If I had one of those, the Candlestick Diaries, if I had one of them, I could have written that down and I would have known it.
And you know what? I mean, those books that Tim and Nancy designed are friggin' awesome. There are
Mhm.
links down below for them. I'll tell you why they're awesome, because sometimes you really want to be able to keep track of where you've entered and where you're getting out, so that you can make your profit calculations correctly.
Mhm.
These books they're all set up to do that. It's basically, think of them like journals, but they're amazing, and they're also really not very expensive at all.
Yeah,
And
they're very, very beneficial. Like if I had one, holy smokes.
oh,
Because
I know.
I would sooner write it down on a piece of paper than actually, use my tablet or my laptop to calculate everything.
Well, it
I'm
makes
just
it
That's how I
easier
am.
too, because then you can just have it right there next to you. Just pull it out of the book. Interestingly enough, if you guys know anybody who is into finances, they make kind of cool little stocking stuffers too.
Mhm.
I think, actually interesting. I think me and Nancy have been talking about doing a gift for those financially inclined video, so a collaboration. So I think that's going to happen. That's going to be very, very cool. But yeah, definitely check out those books down below. Just go over, take a look at them at Amazon, and if you think you can get some use out of them, they're pretty cheap and they're useful. Absolutely.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I like the Purple Book of Ideas. But I'm partial to purple. So Rye, in my opinion, they went through a good new business transformation. It's too far ago for me to know. Well, apparently Nate and Rye are having a falling out. I bought VeChain at 17 cents. Gonna get rid of it when it hits 20 to 21 cents. And the Pelosi thing kills me. Oh, right, right. Rye mentioned that Pelosi is right 100% of the time.
Mhm.
I think he is being sarcastic, but I could be
No.
wrong. I would say she is left 100% of the time. Ha ha ha. And here comes our Dalmatian again. Look at that, and even his little symbol is black and white like a Dalmatian.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Symbolism.
would have been here, but we were eating. Well, hopefully, it was something good. I meant she insider trades, and her market predictions are always perfect. Insider trading tends to do that.
Yeah, just
We
ask Mark
We align politically. Don't worry. Okay, very cool. SM, my kids can't use Facebook either. All right. Yeah, I understand. Right. And then everybody's loving everybody else. This is turning into a kumbaya moment. Diecast, I don't have Facebook, bud. Well, I'll tell you, Diecast, once I get to, I think it's 500 subscribers, I'll be able to open up the community tab within Facebook. I'll be able to put a lot more messages in there for folks like yourself who perhaps don't have access to Facebook. So in other words, if you haven't subscribed yet, folks, just jump down there and click on that really quickly. Nate's glad. Yeah. Nate is glad you are part of the community. I think we all are. SM is one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. Facebook is almost entirely from my channel. I rarely use it. Don't worry. SM, not missing much. Ryan, not a big Facebook fan. Nate, once again, just going back and forth here. Mario Kart again. I think we're slowly getting caught up here. Movic. Okay, Mario Kart. Actually, you know, if you could do Mario Kart in virtual reality where it was like you were in the car, that would actually be super cool.
Yeah, that would be actually.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was trying to help Nay buy Kitty, but he had problems transferring ETH.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Well, we guess we know where you're going after this stream, over to help Nay.
Yeah, when this stream's done, I'll be going to help Nay.
Yeah. Boomers. And then my first was the original NES, but I'm 35. Okay, and LOL Pando. You guys are going to get to buy, just as a reminder, Nate will be on the show next week. I'm from pre-Mario Kart era, pre-internet even. My first internet-like experience is the old BBS. Those are bulletin board services. It's sort of like a form used, I think you just hook up to it with your modem, dial-up modem, and you could leave messages. How far we have come.
Yes, I remember dial-up.
1991 Duck Hunt. So I think Rye and Nate are now becoming bosom buddies.
They'll go duck hunting together.
Yeah.
In their Mario Kart.
Mario Kart mode. I should change the description on the chat to Mario Kart chat. Probably get a whole bunch of new viewers. Then they'll get disappointed when we start talking about Bitcoin, right? All right. Oh dear, we are really close to getting caught up with you guys. You guys are just typing fast. Well, it's because there's like 15 of you here. Toad is weak. No heat-seeking shells. Is anyone from Kitchener? Because someone that bought from my eBay recognized me from Rye's channel, and they live around in Kitchener. Now, how did they recognize you from Rye's channel? Do you wear a shirt that has SM Diecast on it? Just a thought? Yep, I don't know if that's an answer for SM or not. We need to set up a race.
Oh, God, here we go.
We'll have to just do that on one of the live streams.
Yep.
See if we can hook it up and maybe get 3 or 4 people racing. Nate went to college in Kitchener. Blaze says no. And then Nate is dying. This chat has been hijacked. Yes, it has. So MC is looking to have enough money to retire ASAP and move to Portugal. I don't think 10 years from now I am a now person. Okay. Hopefully,
well, the flight's the most expensive part to go to Portugal.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully you speak Portuguese, because that would make it easier for you.
Just a little.
A little. Okay, what track? Although I think most people in Europe speak English as
Yeah.
well. So, or if you get towards, I think there's also Flemish, and I think that's like a mixture of German and French. And there's a lot of different interesting things going on in Europe. Nice MC, go for it, bud. Desert One, or the crazy track with all the bumps. Wow. Okay, let's see exactly, Nate. Thank you. See if we can find something that is not Mario Kart here. Selected or what? Kumbaya. Oh, that was a joke from a while back. I thought we were getting caught up. Holy banana bread. I guess not. We should do a live stream with Mario Kart. Controller with a rumble pack. Yes. Holy. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I need an emulator. Kitty Inu was trying to do Mario Kart. No, it looks a lot like Mario Kart, MC. I know if you were on Crypto Night in Canada the other night, we showed the, I think it was Crypto Night that we showed the trailer for it. Yeah, it was Crypto Night. Looking forward to the Frank McDonald video. Yes, I am absolutely looking forward. And here's the funny thing with Frankie is that, I had heard that he had done an interview with Nay, actually. And so I was like, Nay, how did you get Frankie on your show? And he says, I just asked him. I said, okay. So I went over to Twitter and I said, hey, Frankie, would you like to come on? And I put Nova Scotia Strong in the hashtag in there because I'm from Nova Scotia and he's from Nova Scotia. I figured, and quite literally, I sent him a message. Within a minute, he replied and said, yeah, okay, I'll do your show.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool. So yeah, no, he's definitely awesome. I cannot wait to have him. Now, he's not going to do a live stream. We're just going to do an interview, and it's going to be a video. It's going to be one of my side hustle videos. I'm also going to be interviewing as well a Twitch streamer, a guy who plays WoW for a living, and basically he makes all of his money off of Twitch, and I think that's just really cool. So we're going to talk about Twitch.
Yeah.
How you would go about how you make money on Twitch, and so that's going to be another one of the side hustle series, because I want to every so often I just want to throw in like just some a little bit of interviews, bring some people on, talk to them about how they're making money, how their side hustles are working, because a lot of times I hear questions from people saying how do you make a side hustle? What do I do? I don't know how to make a side hustle. So, I'd like to sort of break these down and give you guys ideas.
Twitch is a pretty good platform. I was at my brother-in-law's there the other week, and he watches a glass blower on Twitch that makes glass pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got it set up that you can type in like a song that you want to listen to. And if it's on YouTube, it'll play the song while the guy's blowing the glass. And he also has this program that actually reads the tweets out to him. So he can be busy with his hands and everything, and he hears what that person typed, and he could just respond to him. It's a pretty good setup.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know some of the bigger, if we'll stick within WoW for the moment, but some of the bigger WoW streamers, I think there's a guy named Asmongold who's making like 7 million a year or something just by streaming. It's absolutely insane. And the only reason I know is that there was a leak at Twitch, and a lot of the top streamers, their salaries got leaked.
Oops.
And that's when it all sort of came out. And I'm just like, holy cow. If somebody were to pay me 7 million a year to sit down and just play a game online, I'd do it. I'm in. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Forex is a side hustle. There we go, Panda. I have to find myself a Forex trader who's successful. But as Nate says, it is a good way to lose your money. About 95% of people who get into any kind of futures options type training, about 95% really, really don't do very well at all. So you have to do a little bit. You got to be a little bit good at that. Oh my God, I'm actually caught up. We got Kevin here. Bajera is much bigger than Asmund. Oh, there we go. Kevin, if I remember, I think Kevin plays World of Warcraft. I think I remember him asking that in a previous one. So guys, we've been doing this now for almost 2 hours, so let's give you the 15-minute warning bell here to get in any last questions here, because, it's Saturday night and, people want to do their Saturday night things, I think. I used to live stream the first time when playing WoW back in the Lich King era. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. So I think, Kevin, you'll probably really love when I bring the gentleman who's coming on. His Twitch name is Qune, Qyune. He's he does his big stick in the game is that he's trying to collect every item on every character on every class, and that's what he's been working on for like 2 years. So that's just like, wow. All right. Take care, Nate, because the stream is sort of wrapping down anyway. So, and remember, folks, next week we have Nate in the house. It's going to be one of those streams that I don't think you can afford to miss. If you don't want to get scammed or any of that, we're going to go deep diving into that. Okay. Oh, you caught up, but the crew has not forgotten about the upcoming Mario Kart Race of the Ages. No, they haven't. Oh dear, banana bread. If we learn it as a community, we'll be sick. We will be sick with it. Okay, and all must know. Tim Carroll, 4x for 11 out of 2 years, or 11, 2 years? 11, like 5.5 years?
I think it's supposed to be 1.5, I think.
Oh, yeah, there should be a space there. So 1.5 years. Okay. Well, Tim, how have you done? Are you making money more than you're losing money? That's the question, Tim. That's the question everybody wants to know. Nate unplugs Rise controller. They're playing dirty. I lack a webcam to live stream. Being low income, I can't afford to get a cam and invest. Kevin, you're low income for now. A little bit of training from my channel and Rise channel and the Danters, and we'll teach you how to move from low income to just slightly above low income, and then eventually to middle income. And, Ken will one day just give you this incredible coin tip, and you move into the big leagues. All thanks to the Oracle. Tim, mentor me, please. Sorry, I have to take my Super NES home. Great stream. Cheers, everyone. And thank you for showing up, SM. We all love you. You're one of our favorites. So you're like you can be my version of the legend. Rye used to have a legend as well, Rick, who I haven't seen Rick in forever, but
yeah, I haven't seen Rick in a while there.
Yeah, but SM, you can be the legend here. I'm gonna just call you the legend going forward. All right. So Tim says yes. So Tim has made some money. So Tim, interestingly enough, I think Tim is one of these people who is very, very good at analyzing and seeing patterns, because those tends to be the people who have a lot more success in Forex than the average person. So yes, making more than job. Well, that's a good thing. So if you're one of those people that can do really good at Forex and can do good with that, you can make a lot of money. I'm not going to deny that at all. Tim Carroll may be our example that that's true. But it's a steep learning curve. You will lose a lot of money at the beginning. Even the successful traders tend to lose quite a bit initially until they figure it all out. So definitely be careful, like super careful. If there's even something more super than super careful, be that. I say that as a Canadian, I couldn't keep up with another currency. It helped living in Ottawa because you had the news days before everywhere else. Still risky. Absolutely. Now I'm living in Ottawa now, and I'm just stoked for the fact that next month the buses are free. Weird thing, but hey, I will take it. Great stream. Thank you, Ryan. Rick is coming back soon. Awesome! I can't wait to see Rick.
Yes.
I will have to have Rick on my show sometime. 07 and hugs to Canada, Ace, and good night, all. That's okay. One time, I had my birthday, and people, I don't know why they keep misspelling Candace, but they actually had "Happy Birthday, Can't Dance." I don't know if I was more annoyed at the bakery or that my mom didn't even bother to look to check to make sure they spelled it right.
Oh man.
Oh, dear. All right, great show, Candace. Hope it's a weekly thing. It is a weekly thing, Dave. Every single week, Saturday night live stream until NBC sues me.
Yeah, the Satama launch, I'm going to be watching that. I think it started an hour ago, I think.
Friggin' autocorrect. You gotta love autocorrect. That happens to me so often. It happens until I finally get annoyed enough that I turn it off. But 2 hours, holy banana bread. Great work. There we go. We'll use my version of a swear word there. All right, guys. So we are coming up on, we are at the 2 hour mark. All right. I think this has been a great show. Everybody, thank you very much for coming. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been as fun, and we wouldn't have had, gotten our Mario on for so long. I'm going to be dreaming about mushrooms and power-ups now. It's just,
oh boy.
I know. Anyway, everybody, it was really great having you here. This is a weekly thing. We will be back next week. Next week, we will have Nate Palmadier. It's going to be an awesome show. You don't want to miss it. And tomorrow night, we got the High Ride live show. And I think I'm on that show. I haven't confirmed it yet with Ryan, but I think I am. So I might be making a quick appearance there for you. And then, of course, we've got 2 videos coming out this week, including that Frankie McDonald interview. So it's going to be, it's going to be a great week. Any of you guys who do not know who Frankie McDonald is, look up his YouTube channel and watch one of his weather forecasts. You will. Don't do it if everyone's asleep, because you're going to laugh. He is a personality for sure. Anyway, everybody, thank you for being here. I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Take care, and thank you for joining me and the Oracle in the Financial Verse.
Good night, guys. High five.